now being recorded.
All right, so Susan had the question already. Do we don't have the ability to log in now? I believe most of you should. I've set up accounts for most everyone. I'm not sure if I got everyone on the list, but most of you should be able to. So, yeah. And I'll give you guys the URL and everything for that in just a second. So, a couple things I just wanted to touch on right up front. Some places to get help and documentation. One great place is just help.blackboard.com, and this is something, it's not hosted through Concordia. This is Blackboard's help site, and they have a lot of great tutorials and guides out there. When you go out there, there'll be kind of a for instructors area, and that will have a lot of information about how to build different types of content items, set up different settings in Blackboard and that sort of thing. And then another place is blog.cuw.edu and that's going to be a place where we will be posting kind of training events we do like this one, specific guides for how to move things from Angel to Blackboard, different things like that. This is going to be a learning process for all of us, so that will be kind of a place where we'll be documenting the learning that we're doing along the way, and it'll hopefully be able to help you all out as you're learning Blackboard as well. And then obviously, we're available for help. So probably the best way is by emailing angelsupport@cuw.edu and then just noting that you're using Learn in the pilot. And that just helps us to kind of track support requests that we have in a better way than just traditional email does, because we have the help desk system behind that helps us keep track of all that. So, or you can always call extension 4327, and we'll be able to help you out through that number as well. This is kind of just a quick summary of the timeline. You've probably already seen this in some form, but kind of what we're looking at is in the spring of 2014 time. You guys are that pilot that's noted there. And we'll be doing some other testing and setting up of things behind the scenes. That's probably one thing to note right up front is that when we mean pilot, we mean that not everything's going to be complete yet. So there may be, a feature that we don't have working right yet, or we may need to fix things along the way, that sort of thing. So that's just something to keep in mind. We're keeping this pretty small, so I think we have about a dozen courses or so represented. So we're trying to keep things small so that we can kind of help everyone out on an individual basis and make sure that you guys can get your teaching done, but at the same time we can kind of work the kinks out of the system and get it ready for everyone else. And so kind of that everyone else point is going to start happening in fall of 2014, where we'll really be looking at doing a larger pilot. And then through that 2014-2015 year, we'll be expanding out the implementation till fall of 2015 is our goal to have this whole thing done, and we're all over on Learn, hopefully. So that's kind of the plan in a nutshell. Any questions kind of about that stuff before we dive into actually getting around and Learn, getting to Learn, etc.? Susan said she just lost audio. Are others able to hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear.
Me too.
Okay. Oh, Okay, so it sounds like it came back for Susan as well. All right. So I'm going to switch over to a screen share at this point, and I'm just going to hopefully give you guys a short little tour of Blackboard Learn. Now I will make no claims up front to know about Blackboard. It's a big system. There's lots of features, so you guys may have questions along the way that I will have answers to, and you may have some questions along the way that I don't have answers to. So just be aware that I'm learning along with you all here. So hopefully I can answer as many questions as possible, and if not, I'll find out the answers and let you know. So hopefully, let's see here. Can you all see a Blackboard login screen at this point?
Yep.
All right, excellent. So, you'll notice up in the URL bar, the URL to get to Concordia's implementation of Learn is pretty simple. It's learn.cuw.edu. Now, one thing to note is as of this meeting, this URL is going to be accessible from on campus, at the centers, and at the Ann Arbor campus. So it should be accessible from all of those locations. And we will be working in the next week or two here to get it accessible off campus as well. So, but for the moment, just accessible on campus. It's just a little bit of a limitation that we have right now in getting everything set up.
Just so you know, Matt, that means Tim Klein won't be able to access it because he, isn't at a center. And so as soon as that can happen, it might be good to figure out a patch for him.
Yep. All right, so the username and passwords are tied to your regular Concordia account. So you should be able to log in just using, I'm going to log in with an administrator account, but just your normal first initial, last name, username and password. If it doesn't work for you, let me know. I won't be able to fix it here live right at the moment, but I'll be able to go back in and figure out why it isn't working and then get you in. All right, so you should now be able to see here the Blackboard homepage. So the Blackboard homepage is very similar to the Angel homepage, actually. You can see it's different colors, et cetera, like that. But it's still kind of made up of these different units or widgets here. And you'll notice that some of them even have similar names. So for example, My Announcements. There's a My Announcements in Angel. It has basically the same function here in Learn as it did in Angel. My Courses, basically the same function again as in Angel. My Tasks is going to show you upcoming tasks that you have. We won't go through every one of these, but I will just note that you can customize this for yourself. So you can drag these around, say if you like having your courses all the way over here instead. It's real easy kind of to customize the view of this page and get the information that you want on your home page in the position that you want. In addition, instead of having the pencil icon like you did in Angel to adjust the settings on one of these items, you have a gear icon here. So if I click on this gear, you'll see that it will load a settings page for the My Courses area, and I'm able to adjust what information I want shown and that sort of thing.
Hmm.
In addition, I don't know how many of you did this, but Angel had the functionality of adding new items to this homepage. Learn also has that functionality. In Learn, we call these things modules. So you can click on Add Module, and that's going to bring up a list of all the available modules, and you can choose one that you want to add to your Learn homepage. You can see here, there's kind of a list of all the different things that you could add. Any questions about the Angel homepage? All right. Yeah, this area is should be pretty comfortable for everyone. Not a lot of surprises here. It's going to feel actually quite a bit like Angel. One other thing to note is just as far as logging off. In Angel, it was over here, kind of on the left-hand side. In Blackboard, the power button is up here in the top right-hand corner. So that's how you log off. It's just important to do it, if you're ever accessing the LMS on a public computer or that kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and go into a test course, and we can kind of walk through a little bit of the course structure. You'll notice that, again, this course homepage has this kind of same widget or module kind of a view with these different boxes. And I, again, can customize this and drag around these different items on the screen. And I can also add course modules using this button, and you'll get a similar interface to that last one. One thing to note is that there's a little bit different kind of methodology of editing courses in Blackboard. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see this editing mode is on button. If you log into your course and you are unable to drag these items around and you don't see the add course module button and that kind of thing, most likely you have editing mode turned off. So in Angel, you had kind of the student preview mode, and that kind of turned on and off editing for you in your course. It was that eyeglasses button in Angel. In Blackboard, we have this edit mode button. So now I have edit mode off, and now it's as if I'm interacting with this course basically as if I was a student. So I can't edit any of these items, can't drag them around, I can't add new ones. So if I want to get all those controls back, I simply turn edit mode back on. And that's going to be something universal throughout the course. So when we start looking at the content area, which is the area that's similar to the Lessons tab in Angel, if I have editing mode turned off, I'm not going to be able to adjust any of my content in my course. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of demonstrate maybe a little bit of a principle of working in Blackboard that's important to understand as you start to work with the different tools that are available to you. And that is that tools are often separated from their display. So what I mean by that is you can see I have my My Announcements area for this course right here. Now in Angel, I would have been able to click on the pencil icon and create a new announcement. And if I click on this gear icon here, what you'll see is I just get some settings, and that's it. I don't get the option to actually edit anything, add new announcements, anything like that. And that's because this module is simply displaying the content of another tool. So where are those tools? Well, there's a couple of places where you can get to the tools, actually. So tools can be found either under this menu item, Tools, or under the Course Management area. You see I have Course Tools here. So if I wanted to, say, add an announcement, I would actually go to Course Tools and then the Announcements area here. And here you can see, here is where I actually can manage announcements. So I can go ahead and click on Create a New Announcement. And I can, enter my announcement as I usually would. Another thing you'll notice just as I'm doing this is that Blackboard has a little bit different methodology than Angel does on editing items. So in this example, what we would usually be used to in most Angel tools is using tabs in the settings area of a tool, and we would get to different parts of that tool setting. Learn functions a little bit differently in that we have these kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of a layout. And so what they're trying to do here is kind of walk you through, first, let's get a subject and a message down. The next, let's select when we want this to show. The next, do we want to link to anything? So they're kind of walking you through step by step. So it's a little bit different way of thinking about it. It's almost more of a wizard kind of approach to the user interface. So now I've created my new announcement here, and if I head back to my home page, you can see now that my new announcement is there. Now there's a bunch of other modules here. You can get an idea from the titles what they would most likely do. So to do items would be similar to an Angel. The tasks pane on the right hand side, so it's going to show you ungraded items and that kind of thing. What's new is going to be similar to the what's new area in the guide on Angel. So you get a lot of the same information as you did in Angel, just presented in a little bit different way. Any questions about the course homepage?
Have you had a chance to dig into what the difference is between the My Tasks and the To Do?
No, I have not. I believe what part of what the difference is going to be is To Do is going to be more based on calendar or due date items. So if you lay out due dates for your assignments, this would actually give your students a view of okay, here's the stuff that I have to get done this week, that kind of a thing. And tasks, I think that's going to be more based on someone else's actions inside of the course. So Bobby and Sally submitted assignments and you need to go grade them. Or Susie replied to your discussion. You should go view that. So it's going to be not so much date-based as it is based on other people's actions in the system. That's my understanding, but I couldn't give you a concrete example of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, so if there aren't any other questions, the homepage is really pretty boring. I'm still kind of processing what would be the best things to put on this page. You can add other modules as well. I know there is one module in here that's just kind of a text module. So one thing that I would maybe suggest is either use the text module or the announcements area, one of the two, just to kind of give your students a welcome to the course. Here's where to actually go and find stuff. Because it may not be apparent to your students right off the bat where to go next. Probably the best place to look next is the content area over here. So most of you are probably used to an Angel, the Lessons tab, and the content area is the equivalent in Blackboard of the Lessons tab. So you can see that I have a bunch of stuff already in here that I've pre-built, so you can kind of get an idea of what a course that's built out looks like. But you can see that it looks, once you get into it, pretty similar to the way that Angel looks. So you have folders, you have items in there. Some things are actually a little bit easier to do in here than they were in Angel. For example, rearranging items. So say I want to move this week 3 folder up, or maybe move the prayer request item all the way down to the bottom. I can simply drag this item down and move it down, and I'm done. I don't have to click on rearrange and then move the item down and then click on OK. So it makes some of those real quick edits, those kind of maintenance things, go a little bit faster.
Matt, I'm just curious, was this a course copy or was this all manually added in?
So that's the little secret that I was gonna save, Justin. But this is actually an import of an Angel. So at the end of our time here, I'll walk you all through how to take your content from Angel and import it into Blackboard. But yeah, this is actually an import from an Angel course that I really haven't touched since. So this is kind of what it looks like when you import your Angel course in.
I apologize for ruining your surprise.
No trouble. So I'll go ahead and jump into a folder here just to give you an idea of what that looks like. You can see I just jumped into the Getting Started folder. This little breadcrumb up here is helpful because it kind of shows you where you are in the course, and if you have nested folders, it kind of helps you to figure out where you are. So you can see I have some pages here, pages we use a lot for things like welcomes or instructor bios, course modules, syllabi, all those sorts of things. And they really function very similarly. So since I'm in editing mode, I'm jumping into editing when I click on it. And you can see I have an editor just like I would in Angel. And I also have some options, to do basic controlling of if people can see it and that kind of thing. All right, Susan had a question. She was playing around course sites and saw the folder was an option. Would be an option to add folders or automatic. Okay, yeah, so why don't we just go ahead and do that here. So, Susan, let me know if this answers your question once I do it. I think this will get to your question. In Angel, there was the Add Content button right underneath the Lessons tab, right? And you could click on that, and that had everything from assessments to quizzes to pages to discussion boards. Everything was right in. Well, Blackboard works a little bit differently in that you have these menus up top where you can kind of select new items that you want to create. So for a simple thing like a folder, all you would need to do is find it under the Content tab, and then you would say, I want to make a new content folder. And so then you just are able to enter your standard information here, test folder. Choose whether you want people to be able to view it or not. If you want to add any descriptive text, you can. Go ahead and click on Submit. And so now I have a new folder here. I can drag it around to rearrange it. And then if I want to get rid of it, that's where this drop-down menu comes in handy. So you'll see that I have a bunch of options here. And this is kind of akin to an Angel when you have moused over an item and you get kind of settings, submissions. There are a number of different options underneath there. This is the similar menu in Kern that lets you access those same kinds of things. So for example, if I wanted to just go back in and rename this, I could click on Edit, and that would take me back to the editing screen, and I could rename this, resubmit it, and then that content item would be renamed. If I just want to get rid of it, I can click on the drop down again and then choose delete, and then it will disappear. So does that answer your question, Susan, or not? Or are you asking about something else? Okay, yeah. So that might be jumping ahead a little bit. I'm not going to repeat your entire question, Susan, but it might be jumping ahead a little bit. I think probably there's going to be different things based on kind of where the courses are housed. Particular departments may want to establish standard navigation or that kind of thing. In online learning, we have kind of a standard navigation that we have for all of our courses. So that's something that probably for this pilot, for sure, everyone will have flexibility to kind of structure things in different ways. As a best practice, you know, I really suggest kind of going with a week or a unit folder structure, because I really feel like that gives the students a good idea of where to go for what they need. But if you have a different structure that fits your course design better, by all means you can do that as well. So coming back up here to this kind of building content area, you can see that there's a lot of different options here. So like I can create items, I can create files, which would be uploading a file. I can create learning modules, which is kind of a package of items. There's lots of different things that I can do in here. But if you look at this menu, you'll notice that there's a number of things missing. So discussion boards aren't in here. Quizzes aren't in here, Dropboxes aren't in here. Those items are contained in these other menus here. So if I go over to assessments, you can see that there are a number of things here that I can add. So this is an area where the language that Blackboard Learn uses is a little bit different than the language that Angel used, so you might have to kind of reframe a few things. So assessment does not mean just what an Angel assessment was, which was a quiz or test. In Learn, we call assessments tests. So if you want to deliver a multiple choice or essay style test, you would choose the test test object, and that would allow you to create a test. Surveys are the same thing as what a survey was in Angel. Assignments are what in Angel was called a Dropbox. So assignments are where a student can submit a file or text to you as a submission for an assignment. And then there's a bunch of other ones here that are kind of added features. So we won't probably go into each one of those in detail. Blackboard has some kind of new tools for a self and peer assessment that they break out that we can explore further. Mobile compatible tests are designed for delivering tests to mobile devices. So you set up those tests in a little bit different way, but you have that possibility. Stake assignment is something we don't have set up right now, but we will be looking at, and that is actually a equivalent tool to Turnitin. So it's a plagiarism detection tool. And then McGraw-Hill assignments, if you use a McGraw-Hill textbook, Blackboard has an integration with McGraw-Hill that allows you to pull in course content easily for those textbooks into your course. So notice that we still haven't found discussions. So discussions are actually found over in the tools area. And so in the tools area, you'll see that there's a number of different things in here. And this comes back to what I was talking about with announcements before, how the display of a tool is separate from where the tool is actually housed. So they're kind of disconnected from each other. So what you'll notice is when I click on tools here and then I go to, say, create a discussion board, it's going to take me to this create link tool here actually, because the discussion tool is actually separate from the content area. I'm hoping I'm not going too fast here for everyone, but you'll see over here that kind of course tools are over here, and these tools are separate from the content area where we're actually adding this link right now. So you'll see that in these options, I get a choice to either link to the discussion board page, which would be the equivalent of clicking on this discussion board tool down here, or I can link to a specific discussion board. So you can see I just have a few in here that I could link to, some test ones. Or I can choose to create a new form, which is going to create a new item actually in this discussion board tool. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. I'll go ahead and create a new forum here and kind of show you what the end result is. All right, Elizabeth had a quick question that I'll just address quickly. Will we be able to use safe assignments in this pilot? Hopefully, but it is completely untested at this point. So when I get it up and running and tested, I'll be sure to let everyone in the pilot know that we can start using that tool. It actually is an integration with Blackboard, so it actually sends the files off to Blackboard for the analysis portion of things, just like the Turnitin integration sends things off to Turnitin. So it just takes some testing to make sure that it's all working and the integration is working properly. So, all right, so we're at creating a forum here. I'm going to go ahead and make a forum. And you see I kind of have this same interface that should be getting a little bit familiar. I have some more settings here because this is a discussion forum. I won't go through every individual setting, but you can kind of get an idea that there's a lot of the same options that you had in Angel here in a Learn forum. And now you can see that my new forum here has become an option for me to create a link to. So I'm going to create a link now. And now I get options for this link. So you can see that the link to the discussion board and the discussion board object are actually two separate things. So that's going to take a little bit of getting used to coming from Angel, where you created a discussion board on the Lessons tab, and that's where it was. And that was kind of the end of the story. The tools in Blackboard are a little bit more complex than that, but with that complexity comes some more flexibility. You can do some kind of neat things that I'll show you in a second. So I'll go ahead and submit this, just so we can see the end result. So you can see here's my new forum here, and I can go ahead and click into this. And start interacting with it. So I can start creating threads, etc. Now, if I go to my course tools area and go to the discussion board, and go to my test course here, you can see that my new forum is here. So this is kind of some of the flexibility that you get with this system. I can actually view all of my discussions and any unread posts I have in each discussion right from this view without having to kind of navigate around different folders where the discussions may be hidden. So when you're actually participating in discussions and you maybe have multiple ones going at the same time, this makes it real easy to kind of make sure that you've read everything, because you get this nice kind of dashboard view of all your discussion boards in one place. So does that distinction make sense of that you're making links on the content area to items in the course tools?
Matt?
Yep.
So if I was going to do that, are you saying I don't put it inside of a weekly folder? I just put it somewhere else, and then if students are being told to go to the weekly folders, how are they going to find it?
No, so the students would still, I happen to create this item just right out here, but you could just as easily go into, let's say, week 8 here, and then create the item inside of week 8. So, but the thing to understand is that you're creating a link actually to the item in the discussion board tool, or in the course tools, excuse me. So I can go in here and I can choose to create a link to a discussion board tool. And you can see I can reselect my new form that I already created here. I can make a link in this folder. And so for the students, they can just as easily access it inside this course folder, just like they would be used to an Angel doing. But when they click on it, they're actually heading over to the discussion board tool over here. I guess that's the thing to understand.
And Matt, before you go away from that page where it says My New Forum, this is Susan, that's the link you're talking about, right? When you say link, it says My New Forum?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure I understood visually. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. So I can actually get rid of that link, and the discussion board is still there. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
this might be too advanced of a question, but would we be able to eliminate in the view for students any of the tools that are not being used in that course? Because I think it'd be complicated for them to figure out what we're doing and what we're not in there.
Yep, and that's actually, let me just see if I can find it real quick here. So tool availability under customization in this course here. You can see that I can set availability of a lot of these, whether I want that tool to be enabled or not. Some of them you aren't going to be able to control the availability of them because they're built in, or they aren't available in that area, if that makes sense. So, but you can turn these items on and off. That's another thing to note, is that this right-hand menu here, or I'm sorry, left-hand menu, is also customizable. So you can see when I mouse over an item, I can actually reorder these items as well. And I actually do have the option of creating new links or content areas in this side navigation. So there's a lot of different ways to structure things. I mean, one thing, if you're kind of looking at trying to help students transition from Angel to Blackboard, is you could even rename this content page. You could rename it to lessons if you wanted to. If you want to kind of help students along in finding where they need to go, if they're used to clicking on lessons already, you can rename that to lessons so that it makes the navigation a little bit more comfortable. So I know I did kind of a big content dump on you there. If you guys have other questions at this point, that's great. The last thing that I did want to get through before our time is up here, though, is just kind of a quick walkthrough on importing course content. I know this was really high level for this time around. Are there any other questions kind of about the interface and that kind of thing that have come up right away for you guys before I move on to the importing? All right. So hopefully this hasn't been too intimidating. I know when I first logged into Blackboard for the first time, I thought, okay, this isn't so dissimilar from Angel that I'm going to have to relearn everything that I'm doing. There's a lot of similarities. I think the folder thing really makes things very comfortable from a student navigation standpoint. They're already used to going into folders and getting their stuff in that way. So hopefully there won't be too much shock as we start to work through this. I'm sure, as you can see, there's tons of options in here. So I'm sure we'll have lots of things to explore. But I'm actually going to switch back to PowerPoint at this point because the import process, while it's very easy, takes a little bit of time, and I don't want to make you guys have to wait for every step as the export process, so I can walk you through the screenshots. So the PowerPoint may take just a moment to load for you guys here again. Can everyone see the PowerPoint again? All right, looks like everyone can see it. And then Michael just had a question quick before I move on. I have an old Blackboard archive of a course that I'm piloting. Any advice, or should I try importing the package and see what happens? You can go ahead and try importing it and see what happens. Not knowing what version it came from, you may have varying amounts of success in importing it, but feel free to try it. If you run into trouble, let me know, and I can take a look at it with you. But theoretically, if it was from Blackboard 9 or 9.1, I believe it should work. All right, so this first, okay, so it's from Blackboard 9. So yeah, it should work. I don't make any guarantees, but it should work. So this first screenshot should be familiar to most of you. I'm just in the Manage tab here of a course. So to get started in exporting your course out of Angel, you're just going to click on this Manage tab and then go to the Backup and Restore area. Once you do that, this is the screen that you'll see, and you'll just click on, it's a little bit hard to see maybe the first time you're looking at it, but just click here, and that's what you'll want to click on to start the backup process. On some of your courses, you may have created a backup in the past, and that will show up right up here if you have created a backup before. If you haven't, you'll just click on that. And this is the next screen you'll see, and you'll just want to click on View Your Backup Job in the Export Console. So when you click on the backup job, it sends the job to the server, and then the server processes that. Depending on the size of your course and what else is happening on the server at that time, it can take anywhere from 30 seconds to 15 minutes to get a course backup created. But by going to this export console, you'll be able to watch the progress of that export job. So this is what it looks like when the export is done. You can see that the status is OK, which means that it's done. As it's in process, it will show something like, job schedule, job in process, and then you'll eventually get this OK check mark. And then you can click on this link right here to download a zip file of your Angel backup. From there, you'll head over to Blackboard, get logged in, and then head over to your course. So you'll click on your course, and then you'll scroll down and click on Packages and Utilities, and then Import Package. Now it's important to go to the Import Package area, not the Import Course Cartridge area. The package is what you want to use. Course cartridge is for example, if you have a cartridge from a textbook manufacturer, you would use this option. But since we're pulling this from Angel, we want to import a package. This screen is what you'll see next. And you can see I have one job here that's already done. So this is what it looks like when the job is done. You get this this log of that tells you about the status of the import. but what you'll want to click on is the Import Package button. It's going to just verify, hey, here's the course that I'm going to be putting this into, so you can just make sure that you have the right course selected. And then you'll click on Browse My Computer, and that's going to bring up the File Browse dialog, where you can browse to the zip file that you downloaded from Angel. Once you've selected that file, you can see there's a bit of scrolling here, but you'll want to choose most likely this Select All option for course materials. You do have the option of selecting individual items that you want to import or not import. So say you didn't want to bring across your tests from Angel, you could uncheck that box if you wanted to. In most cases, you're just going to want to choose Select All and then submit the backup job, or I'm sorry, the import job. And then from there, the import will begin, and you'll be able to see its progress in Blackboard's import console, and then you will see your content loaded into that course. Now, it works very well from all the testing that I've done so far. Almost everything comes across perfectly, but I will say I wouldn't trust it. So click through your content, make sure everything is set up the way that you want it to be set up. Blackboard obviously has some tools that Angel doesn't have, so there may be some things that you'll want to tweak still, and just make sure that things are working before you push the content live to your students. Okay, Michael had a question. How does Learn define large package? Okay, I see. Uploading large packages may take a long time. So, you know, it's like uploading any file. So, say your zip file that you downloaded was 30 megabytes. If you're at home on your home connection, that might take, you know, 5 to 10 minutes to upload. If you're here on campus, it should go much quicker. So I think they're just warning you, you know, when you hit the submit button, don't think it's not working if it doesn't move on to the next page immediately, because it's going to be doing that upload. Yep, just a warning.
Check.
Will the master courses be imported for our accelerated learning courses? That's something that we can definitely do if you'd like, Paige. I can go out and export that master for you and bring it in. And if any of you, you know, want assistance with this process, I'm happy to sit down with any of you and walk through it one-on-one as well.
Oh, we can help with that also, Matt.
Yep. Yeah, either place. Whether you want to, you know, give me or Tyler a call, we can help out with that, or the self can help out with that too. So we're all available to help out. Other questions beyond the importing process?
One thing I've encountered just kind of clicking around on here is that I occasionally am hitting some error screens. Obviously, some of those are going to be, you know, my mistake, but some of them are going to be system issues. How do you want us to handle that? I mean, if I'm reasonably certain it's a system issue, do you wish to be contacted? Or, you know, you kind of had some slides up front. I'm not sure which, what, who, how.
Yeah, so probably the best thing to do is if you can either copy and paste the error message or take a screenshot of it, either one, and send it to Angel Support at cuw.edu. Then it'll get logged in our help desk system, and we can start to track it down.
Okay.
So yeah, there may be some things in there, you know, that as we've been doing our initial testing, we haven't tried out a particular feature on a particular tool, and there might be something that we need to fix. So for sure, report those things. Don't just assume, oh, it's broken, and I'm sure they're working on it. So don't feel like you're bugging us if you find things that aren't working.
Matt, this is Margie. I'm wondering if what happens to the section headers that we've been using for the assignment pages? Do they come in as pages or something else?
I believe they come in as pages, but I am not 100% sure of that. I haven't tested out a course with section headers yet, so I can't tell you for sure.
I'm actually working on downloading one as we speak here that I can test with and can let you know what it does.
Well, that's kind of the end of the formal presentation per se. So if you guys have other questions, I think, Tyler, did you collect a couple people that weren't able to get logged in? Yeah. Susan and Elizabeth, currently. Okay, Susan and Elizabeth we have down as people that we need to get your logins fixed. Is there anyone else? If you haven't tried yet, that's fine too. You can feel free to try later and contact us at that point if you aren't able to get in. One other note, I will be sending out, I'll send out the recording and this slide deck so you have those steps of going through the import process and the links for places to get help from as well.
Thanks, Matt.
Well, thank you all. Thanks for everyone volunteering to be on this journey with us, and I hope it goes smoothly. And just thank you so much for your guys' time. Okay, Michael. You know what? Feel free if you want to send me the file. I can play with it on my end too and see if I can get it working for you. All right, sounds good.